Dear guests and devotees, please ask your questions. Use this great opportunity. Raise your hand like this, push the button to raise a hand, write it in the chat box, we will translate it.
If you don't ask questions, I start asking you questions.
Maharaj, can I ask a question? I have one. Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about the question today morning, and the question appeared about disciple and guru. What does it mean to be a perfect disciple, and how we can achieve this position, and do we need achieve it, or maybe it can appear to us?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because everywhere we can look at definition of guru, what guru should be, but what disciple should be. We need to understand from the stories of real devotees and disciples, and faith and dedication as the main qualities of real disciple. And I think in scripture, there was one character called Brahman Udanaka who cursed Krishna. But he was not just normal person, of course. He was a sage. And although he made mistake and cursed Krishna in his afterlife, when his ego grew, in his particular descendant, spiritual descendant, he committed many great activities. And one time he was asked to eat cow dung or horse dung, horse shit. And he told me, like, why should I do it? And somebody said, because your guru done that. And he did it based on faith in his guru, not based on that person who's telling him to do so, but because he said, if my master went through this, why not me? So if my master took some shit in his mouth, I can also do that. I don't have any problem. And one time he was saved by Rakshasa, because that Rakshasa was supposed to eat him. But this Rakshasa liked him very much. And he told him, like, look, and after a certain time, after 12 o'clock midnight, I become a vampire and I will eat you. So you better run away as soon as you can. So just because he'd done so much guru bhakti, his life was saved many times. He'd done, many great things in desire to serve his guru. And there are many stories like this, and stories of Mahaprabhu, pastimes devotees. There were some very faithful devotees of Mahaprabhu, including Madhavendra Puri, who show incredible mercy to the disciples like Nityananda Prabhu and others. And then we know the stories of guru-disciple relationship from Goswamis and our line of our teachers. So we have to have faith, belief. And that belief has to come not from superficial part, from our internal part. So not everybody, like Govinda Maharaj used to say, many people read Sri Guru and His Grace. So that book is very good to identify what is the Guru. But we need to make a book which help identify what is disciple. So our Guru, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he showed all of us a great example of become perfect disciple of Guru. We understand Srila Guru Maharaj had very high philosophy and very high position in Gaudiya Math, recognized by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and others. But we also know that Srila Govinda Maharaj got recognition of all the god brothers of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. That's why his pranam mantra says, Guru Ganaya Shesha Sampushitam. Guru Gan, like he was dear to all the god brothers of Guru. So, like Madhava Maharaj, Keshava Maharaj, all people, they love Govinda Maharaj. Why? Because Govinda Maharaj always tried to be on background, humbly serving. See, we just spoke a minute ago with Swami Maharaj in his room having tea. And he said, at the time of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, many people came to see him, like from ISKCON. And some people who would come to see him would also be very stupid, because they thought they met Prabhupada and they're coming to see some sadhu who's not on their map. And they start telling him, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur won this and this and this. And they would tell this to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, prominent disciple. And they would start to teach Srila Sridhar Maharaj some of their understanding of spiritual ideas. That's why it's very dangerous when neophyte starts calling the shots. And Sridhar Maharaj would listen then carefully, with respect. He wouldn't show like his ego. But one time when I was in Vrindavan, Srila Govinda Maharaj was sitting on a chair. And after taking bath, he got some sun. That means he took off his utaria. And after bath, he didn't put his tilak. He took off his glasses. And he was just sitting on a chair, like relishing the sunlight. So he looked like an Indian, maybe guard at best. And some Italian devotees, couple came, like very respected Italian devotees came, and they want to find Krishna DD. And they asked Govinda Maharaj, do you know where is Krishna DD room? They didn't know who Govinda Maharaj, because they could not recognize him without the, big dress and the tilak sitting on Vyasa-san. And he said, yes, you can come to the third floor. It must be right side. You'll find her room. He was like, but I was there in sannyas dress on the side, and I stepped out and I said, in front of you, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parijakacharya. In other words, the king does not need to present himself. There's always somebody else supposed to present the king, right? So king doesn't come like, hey, I'm king, giving everybody his visiting card. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, I'm the king. So that doesn't work. So somebody has to announce the king. But king does not need to announce himself. So that means actually in spiritual life that the real great devotee, he never will seek recognition. He will never come and say, you know what I am, I'm such a great. He will never say, I'm such and such amazing person, blah, blah, blah. You don't know who I am. He will never say that, because that would be against the nature of the king to present himself. So devotee nature is to present himself as a servitor. See, we want to be recognized as a servitor. So there's one story about one time was one really, really big acharya, really big spiritual leader, let's say big guru from Gaudiya Math. He'd done something. And based on what he'd done, Sridhar Maharaj said, this could only be done by somebody who's neophyte. And that guru was like 100 years old. And when some of his followers told, you know what Sridhar Maharaj said, what you've done could be done by neophyte. That guru, hearing Sridhar Maharaj said that, raised hands to his head and he said, at least I was not recognized as Sahaja or atheist. Then you can also understand that guru didn't say, I am great guru, I am this, that. He said, no, if my God brother points some of my mistake and, understood that what I did was not from the highest platform, doesn't mean that he's neophyte. It means like, yeah, maybe out of, some guru is not always on the guru seat. Sometimes he can come down to human level. So yeah, from neophyte level, this could be done. It's not like Einstein is always a great physicist or always answer everything from the great physics. No, some things he could answer from another point of view. But at least that old guru, he was very humble enough to recognize, yes, if some devotees recognize me as not high-level devotee, that is good for me, because at least they said, oh, he's an atheist or he's a neophyte. and he's a non-believer, yeah, that would be worse than that. So then you can understand the position of disciples very unique, the position of guru very unique. We have to think about, like, we have to think what would guru look at our situation, how he would recognize us, how he would act, and you know, give us the estimate in our activities. And sometimes we're doing great, and sometimes we have to think, okay, well, I'm a very bad person, but my guru is very merciful. I think my guru will give up, because we do a lot of things. So anyway, any other questions?
Yes, Maharaj, we have question in the chat box from Kalindi Priya. She is asking, do I understand correctly that Vaishnava aparadha does not depend on the experience of the devotee? That just a junior devotee can commit an offense against an older one. So also an older one can offend a younger one. Or maybe it's insulting a Vaishnava means insulting a recognized Vaishnava.
Well, it says in scriptures by Rupa Goswami not to criticize anyone. See, the problem is we like to criticize anyone. And if devotee is stupid, he will get involved when one devotee criticizes another devotee. Politics. Like, I know many people criticize me. And I understand why. Number one, they're jealous. Number two, they have good reason. Like somebody can say, oh, Avadhut Maharaj does not always wear a sannyas dress. If somebody does not know why, he can be like, really? Then if somebody say, well, he's not always wearing sannyas dress because certain work, like for instance, if you're a doctor, it doesn't mean that you go to, you know, certain place in your doctor dress. So the doctor is supposed to wear his dress during his doctor work. But if the doctor doing, you know, cleaning work, then doctor doesn't have to express his dress during cleaning. And it's reasonable, and I'm not saying that I'm a perfect person, but if some stupid devotee will get involved in this activities, he will lose it. You understand? So if you start criticizing devotees and then end of the story, you see, well, you know, you create some kind of bad opinion about somebody that you have no idea what they're talking about. Therefore, the suggestion for somebody not to get involved in politics. Well, it does not mean that we should not get involved in local politics. Let's say if you are local devotees running a temple, then their local politics is to establish the best possible service. But if politics become a method of criticism or offending somebody or creating opposition group, that's what people trying to do everywhere. It's everywhere. During Govinda Maharaj time, ISKCON time, and our time, they try to make, you know, because they're, remember, there's always stupid people. And why they're stupid? Because they don't understand really principles of Vaishnavas. Like Govinda Maharaj, he hated, he never liked to get involved in politics. That's why Govinda Maharaj was never enemy with ISKCON, was never like politics in our mission, because he knew it's destructive. And so we should not go on a path of self-destruction. Like, for instance, in one country, you also want to be recognized as a leader. That's fine. You can go elsewhere and start your own preaching program. And you know what? We respect you. Like we have in Riga Sajjanananda, but Suresh Krishna, he wants to preach in his own place. All right, no problem. He can go and preach Nobody told him he should not preach. And you know what? And if you show your results, we also recognize you like Sajjanananda. We say, okay, Sajjanananda doing this, and you're doing this, it's wonderful. But if you start preaching against Sajjanananda and start telling people, oh, don't come to him program, come to my program, you're not preaching, actually. You're sending people the wrong impression. You're doing politics. Like, I've sent Narayani to Kharkov. Why did I send Narayani to Kharkov? Which is a very capable girl. And she can open yoga center and spiritual center. See, she can do both. She can run spiritual center and she can run yoga center. And yoga means economy. It's very difficult to make yoga as a business, but she's not only can make yoga as a business, she can also, through that yoga space, pay for the programs, pay for the prasadam, pay for the stuff. But some people said, well, we're not doing yoga, we're doing bhakti yoga. That's fine. You know, like we have yoga center where we can do bhakti yoga program. Like, you know, we're not telling everybody should join our Moscow yoga classes. No, we have like a temple. You can come to temple absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. You get free prasadam, you get free everything. But if you want to join yoga classes, you can pay something which will help us to pay for the temple. No problems. So if you have positive vision, you can harmonize everything. But you need to have that positive vision. You need to have that understanding and appreciation. Yes, somehow you need to pay for the temples. Somehow you need to maintain devotees. Somehow you need to pay for deities. Like, you know, so like, I don't know how to collect donations in Soviet Russia, I'm sorry. If you tell me I can come to Soviet Russia and become such a great devotee and everybody give you donation, I don't buy it because, you know, I'm not Govinda Maharaj, I'm sorry, I'm not Indian guru who's just like, you know, like when you see Dalai Lama, you understand he's Dalai Lama. When you see a guy like me, like what is your impression? Some kind of a guy. You know, I started preaching when I was 24 years old. Now I'm 54 years old. So I've been 30 years preaching. And I was never a successful preacher from point of view. I'm not Tommy Roberts. I'm not Radhanath Swami. I don't have Hollywood followers, disciples, Indian billionaires. In fact, all my followers are old babushka or crazy people. Like I'm guru of crazy and babushkas. So, but you know, with my babushka followers and with my crazy followers, I have crazy ideas. And you know what, guess? Only crazy people, they share crazy ideas. Okay, let's make Hare Krishna games. If you go to any normal ISKCON guru and tell them, you know, there's like some crazy Russian guru making some Hare Krishna games. What the ISKCON guru tell you? Prabhupada never said anything about gays. Prabhupada this, Prabhupada that. But if you read the history of Vaishnavism, then he would understand Vaishnavas used to make games. See, it's not my idea. It's done by other great Vaishnavas. I think in so if 18th century, some great Vaishnava saints create some games to educate people, then why not? Why we cannot do this? Why this can be done by Mayavadis? So I told my crazy followers, if anybody has skills to create games, I'd be very happy. And I give some ideas. And you know, some people try, but mainly Yamuna from Israel, she has a very nice brain, nice Jewish brain. She figured this out, how to make games. And then she figured out, I can also sell those games. You know, I can pay, you know, I can use that resource for printing, or I can teach people. And she figured out some way how, and now people like Pavel, they play games with people, and it's become a great preaching tool. So it's a crazy idea, but you need some crazy people. who believe, okay, yeah, through games we can promote Krishna consciousness. Why not? So it requires some alternative thinking. That's why I don't really like straight Hare Krishna followers. I don't think I can really help them. I only can help those who are helpless, but who wants to change. So that's my definition. But there's some other people. Somebody is like very intellectual. He's looking for an intellectual guru like Swami Maharaj. Or somebody is very pious. He needs somebody like Bhakti Lalita. Or somebody, one perfect guru like Madhusudan Maharaj. Fine. I think doors are open. So everybody will find something that, the birds of the feather fly together. So I think that's very normal. What you're looking for. What kind of connections you're looking for. More than sure. Anyway, that maybe not, what I'm telling you, maybe not very matter of public discussion, but why I like Govinda Maharaj. Why I say I'm not follower of Sridhar Maharaj. I'm from Sridhar Maharaj mission, but I'm follower of Govinda Maharaj. Because Sridhar Maharaj was very great, incredibly high level sadhu. But Govinda Maharaj saved me as a fallen soul. See, I didn't came to mission of Sridhar Maharaj because I'm some kind of a great soul. I was saved by my guru. That's why I understand the power of Guru is mercy, Shri Guru and his grace. So I was recipient of grace of the Guru. And that's why I recognize my Guru. Yes, the Guru of my Guru is even more higher, and Guru of my Guru more higher. And there's more higher Guru Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and there Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, but I'm not that qualified person. I don't have that skills. In fact, I am 100% unqualified person. I don't have any qualities, anything. My Guru saw me a few hours before he gave me initiation. I asked him all stupid questions. But he recognized I'm like sincere idiot. That's okay. What Govinda Maharaj recognized in me is sincerity. Because I asked him first question, if I take initiation, but I cannot follow all regulative principles, do I need to take birth again, or I have some chance in this life to get Krishna? It was a very stupid question, because millions of lives, maybe you'll not get Krishna, even if you're perfect. But my question was sincere. So Govinda Maharaj told me the story about prostitute that offered khichdi to Jagannath Puri, to Jagannath. And she told me about Shalagram Shila that been on the scale of butcher. And butcher used that Shalagram Shila as weight. So then immediately Govinda Maharaj showed me it's not about how great you are, how perfect you are, it's how merciful Lord to you. Look, Ajamil was a good boy and he spoiled his life. In time of death, he remembered Narayana, not because he remembered Narayana as Lord. He first remembered his son Narayana, called his son first. And then gradually remember Narayana who saved, chant the holy name of Narayana. And Ajamil was saved. It described in Bhagavatam that Ajamil had quite a simple life. He forgot about everything. He got with prostitute, he got married, he's got many children, he needed to maintain family, he starts stealing, robbing, and at very old age, he became father again. And he already old guy. But because of his sexual desires, he had to stay family life. But Krishna saved him. So if Krishna saved him, then who is Krishna? Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinu Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikanta Radha Kanta. Krishna is a friend of fallen souls. He's a friend of hopeless. If you're hopeless, Krishna will, but you have to surrender to Krishna. That is the This is the rule. You have to surrender to Krishna. That would be the condition. And if you surrender to Krishna, you're safe. So it's not about our qualifications, it's about mercy of Krishna. Of course, we should develop our qualification by hearing and chanting. We have to daily hear something about Krishna Katha, read, and daily try to chant, daily try to think about Krishna. That's what we should do. And gradually, by entering our heart, the power of Harikatha, the Kirtan, will reveal itself to us. So that is our duty. Any other questions?
Yes, Maharaj, we have two more people to ask questions. First, Dandavat from Divana DD. She is asking, could it be that you never become worthy to be directly at the Guru's feet? Or will everyone eventually be able to receive such grace?
Well, we're all individual beings. Rupe Brahmani Brahmate Kom Bhagavan Jiv. Remember, Krishna has a hidden plan to save every one of us. Krishna is trying to apply his rescue plan to us. And sometimes we get away by our material desires. But then Krishna makes us suffer. And through suffering, we go back to spiritual life. So, because suffering is the best medicine. Without suffering, like when you hurt the sheep with a stick, if sheep goes away, you hit him, and the stick, then he's going to the right direction. So, the learning has come through suffering. Like one of my best gurus right now is diabetes and neuropathy, constant pain. So when I'm in constant pain, I constantly remember my good health. When you're in trouble, you constantly remember Krishna. That's why Kunti Devi, she's telling the Queen Kunti, she's telling Vipadastavatat Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. She say, when I'm in trouble, then I'm not naturally remember Lord. So Lord, if a condition soul like me only remember you in trouble, then please keep me in trouble all the time. She didn't say like, hey, I want to enjoy. She said, no, when I enjoy, I forgot about you. But when I'm in trouble, I constantly remember about you. So keep me in trouble, that I'm attached to the Lord's feet. Because if something bad make you think of Krishna, that's good. And if something good take you away from Krishna, that means it's bad. See, people expecting from God sense of security, sense of wellness, but not the pure devotees. Pure devotees, they don't care about wellness or sense of security. They know it's false. Look what's going on in the world. Look what's going on in the world. Like, I love Kharkov. I love Lviv. It's a very beautiful town. But, nighttime hit by rocket. War going on. Who could think of this 15, 20 years ago? People could not even imagine this. But, demons, they don't sleep in this work. They do demonic work very well. They make people hate each other, genders, Christian, non-Christian, Trump, Biden. There's always diversity going on. That's what demons trying to do. They try to make people hate each other. Because they know if people will get involved in hate and politics, they will lose sense of reality. That's why in spiritual life, we should not get involved in politics because we're going to lose sense of reality. ISKCON doing very well, wonderful, God bless you. Okay, this guru has many disciples, Krishna bless him. What's the point? Like, you don't make yourself bigger by letting somebody down. Anyway, any other questions, comments? Because we're moving towards maybe end of discussion today.
We have raised hand from Scarlet Bloom. I think she can ask her question.
Yeah, she can.
Hare Krishna, and thank you very, very much for today. When we talk about aparadha, Vaishnava aparadha and so on, there are people who start just kneel now and they don't know about all the rule and regulation and the tradition in the Krishna consciousness. Sorry. And sometimes unknowingly they may say something or do something, but they didn't think about to offend someone. They don't know the rule and the regulation and the tradition. Is it still count like aparadha?
Depending on your consciousness, let's say if the cat come to your house and pees on your carpet, is that still cow defense? Yeah, it's not a good thing for the cat. You can say, okay, cat, go and clean the piece. But if some neighbor comes to your house and do the same willingly, then you pretty much can call police or say that person is doing something very consciously. So we can understand the difference. If people are less conscious, they don't even know what they're doing. But if people doing consciously, that's another story. It's not a responsibility. So the one story in Mahabharata about court case, when everybody want to decide who's the qualified to be the king of Bharat, Yudhishthira or Duryodhana, many people say, yeah, Duryodhana is very good quality, very good king, but the king has to be the judge. He said, okay, let's see how that king can judge. So they brought him to the court and put king in the judge position. And there were three people that commit crime, and all their crime was murder. And Duryodhana, listening, all their murder, said, yeah, they should be all killed. According to Shastra, they all deserve death. Then everybody, oh, all glory is to the king. He followed exactly the scriptures. Then they give to Yudhishthira a chance. Okay, let's hear how Yudhishthira will handle this case. Yudhishthira was not there. Yudhishthira came, he looked at those criminals, and they told him, all these criminals that murder very... He said, okay, let's talk to one. Who is that person? Tell me about yourself. He said, your kindness, I'm a very low-class, uneducated man. I was drunk, and, out of my emotion, I killed, a person. He said, okay, I understand. Listen, another guy, who are you? Oh, my king, I was a trader. I did some trade, and, somebody borrowed some money from me, and out of, my desire to get my money back, I killed that person, or revenge, okay? But he asked another person, who are you? And that person said, well, I'm a Kshatriya, and I had conflict with this person, and, for whatever the reason, I killed him. But okay. And who are you? He said, I'm a Brahmana, and, due to a certain circumstance, I killed another Brahmana. Then everybody's waiting for his reply. And he said, the first guy is very ignorant. There's no point of even apply that murder to him because he's an ignorant person. He should get sentenced in jail, work hard, and repay for his thing. Another guy who killed for the money, he should be confiscated all his things and also be in a jail. Should not be killed, but confiscated. His money has to go to the family of people that he killed. And the Kshatriya guy is, you know, whatever the details, he can pay death for his death because he broke the Kshatriya principle. He's a very high-level guy. And he deserves death because that's for Kshatriya is purification. Then he will be purified in his next life. And this Brahmana, I cannot even judge him. The Brahmana can be judged only by other Brahmanas. And then everybody realizes he is the right king. He knows how to judge people. He's not judging them based on what they've done. He judged them based on which condition, which present of mind and stage they have done crimes. Then he's the real king and he's the real judge. So Krishna is the real king, there's a real judge, and Krishna will judge everybody according to his conditions. So you should not worry about how to judge others because you're not judge, Krishna is judge. What you should worry about is to follow perfect behavior. And like I've said, I mean, recently there were a lot of politics in our mission. And, you know, those politics were against me. And some people say, oh, Avadhut Maharaj, he does not like vaccines. He's a conspiracy theorist. But I just told people, like, my personal thinking was, I think it's a big government scam. I think it's dangerous for your life. So before you do something, you study that. So I didn't tell people, oh, you should not do this or that. I just said, my personal opinion. It's my personal opinion. You know, like, my personal opinion, don't trust government. That's my personal opinion. But I don't say, like, you cannot trust any government. You cannot trust government in everything. Yeah, certain things, governments are trustworthy. Certain things, but I don't believe that people on top of this world are working for common good for others. I think they work for their own good. That's my opinion. Again, like, I'm not trying to share it in you. But if somebody does not like my opinion, then go, you can take any kind of vaccine. You can do whatever you want. And I'm not like, see, I never talk about these things on spiritual programs, as you follow my spiritual programs. But if you ask me personally, I will tell you my opinion. I say, I don't trust government. I don't trust Russian government. I don't trust Ukrainian government. I don't trust American government. I think they're all doing propaganda for the interests of small group of people. I don't think war with Russia and Ukraine has any benefit for Russia. But they say it's beneficial. So I don't trust news. I trust my guru. I trust spiritual knowledge. And I trust, and when my followers will ask my suggestion, I will tell them, I would not trust government. It's very shocking for Western people because in the West, they normally trust government. But in Russian, we had Gulag, we had Stalin, we had our own government killing our own people. So based on that experience of Russian Revolution, World War II, Stalin, and what's going on in the world, Russian people less stupid because they know your biggest enemy sometimes your government. But at the same time, Russian people understand the government will not make you do bad things. It's your tendency, your karma. So don't try to fight against the system. You become Krishna conscious. And by being Krishna conscious, you will enlighten yourself and enlighten others. You see, I don't say, oh, you have to fight with government, you have to become a rebel. No, what I say, the biggest enemy of humans are ignorance. Preach Krishna consciousness. Remember, Krishna came with his weapons, and his weapons sang kirtan. So if we can preach kirtan, we actually against any system, capitalism, socialism, any of the systems, they will not fulfill, they will not do any good to others. So what I mean is, we are Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan. We only support the glorification of God in any language, any country, any race, whether you're gay, straight, transgender, supergender, it doesn't really matter to us. As long as you chant Hare Krishna, you're a spiritual soul. So we're not into social politics, the gender ideas, the human rights. We actually believe that before you inquire the rights, you have to become a human. See, we don't think if you're born on two hands, if you're born with particular genital, you're born as a human, you become a human. In our tradition, you only become human after second initiation. So first, when you take initiation, you take a birth. When you take second initiation, you take second birth. And then we consider you as a human. And before that, we consider you humanoid kind of animal with intellectual ability. Like better, you might be at certain things you're better than monkey. At certain things you're not.
Thank you.
See, monkey, she's not thinking how to steal all other bananas from all other monkeys. Or monkey's not thinking how to, make all the monkey work for me, or if they're not going to follow me, I'm going to kill them all. Monkey's not that devious. So we can say some people even worse than animals because they've been given higher position, but with the greed, anger, lust, they're misusing all their things. So we're not even consider human as like an animal. Like cow has much sattvic position. Cow eat the grass, it's giving the milk, it doesn't harm the environment. You never see cow like, cow has its own little thing, but it's very sweet and beautiful. That's why we call it holy animal. And giving the milk to people and raising us, and just its whole existence. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm very always happy to see you, to participate.
Dear
And
devotee,
again, forgive my French. I'm not a big English-speaking media person. I'm not like a big guru who's trying to influence the world. I'm trying to change myself and deal with few others.
I must say, why I participate in your classes is because I appreciate very, very, very much, and I'm very, very grateful for your honesty and how you say it goes deep in my heart. I promise you, and I thank you very, very much for that.
I feel the same from you.
Thank you.
Because I believe if we are pretenders, like my understanding about a lot of people in the West, they're having pretending spiritual life. And being pretender, it's okay. You have to pretend in material life. You pretend that you're smart, or you pretend that you're rich. But really, I think the important part of spiritual life is humility. And that is what coming from devotees. So I remember humility of Srila Govinda Maharaj, and he never ever, show his superior position or superior knowledge, and he was very human. He could understand everybody's problem because he was, he knew what the life is. So then remember his lotus feet, I'm trying to follow his model. And, and I'm happy with his model. I know some other big gurus and they're a little bit playing game, pretending. But I said to one of our sannyasi, I said, but that guru that you don't like, he can meet with the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of England. He can give initiation for Hollywood star. Yeah, he has to play that role. You know what I'm saying? He has to play. He's very divine, he's this. But, that's what expecting on external level. But, he's also represent Krishna consciousness on big scale. So we can say, yes, in our mission, we do have some, big gurus, and they can do like a big public work, and they can meet with high-level people and maybe even give initiation to some high-level people. But, I'm not targeting to become guru Hollywood stars. In fact, I don't really care about them because I live in Hollywood. I know what it is. So I know they're all suffering beings, just like you and I, just maybe suffering in their golden cage. We're suffering because we have no money. They're suffering more because they have money. We're suffering because we have no recognition, no love. They have too much recognition and love. And we know that their suffering is worse than ours. You can walk in the park anywhere. The celebrity cannot walk in the park. They're like, they cannot do things you can do very easy. That's why being celebrity, it's just appear to be a very wonderful thing for somebody, or being a king is a very wonderful thing for somebody, but actually being king, it's not a very pleasant work. Okay, anybody else? So anyway, God bless you, Krishna bless you, you're a great soul. Whatever you do, you keep going, try to improve your health, try to improve your spiritual practice, and go deep, pray, and Krishna will bless you. I'm sure Krishna will save you. It may take some time, but don't worry about that. Krishna he knows everything. Hare Krishna.
Dear guests and devotees, we have 10 more minutes. It's enough for asking one last question. Please, don't be shy.
Okay, I can tell you one thing on the last moment. Doesn't have to be this question. You know, sometimes when you're guru and you're public person, somebody doesn't like what you're doing, or like, you know, like little children want some attention from you, personal attention. So there are, you know, a few people a little crazy. They write me some things, and you know, they're trying to like little get my attention. And any kind of normal person would hate them. Because, you know, when somebody starts trolling you and write you things and crazy stuff, you think, oh, I have to ban this person. But I thought, yeah, maybe that person has little wrong intentions. But for some reason, that person trying to establish connection with me, not based on my personal position, based on some interest in Krishna consciousness. Maybe that person can say something negative to me. That's okay. You know, I don't supposed to take any offense from that person. I should try to give that person love, tolerance, and chance to connect with devotees, to improve, because it's a very rare opportunity to be connected with Krishna. It's not an easy thing. Like, see how many billions of people and trillions of living entities live in this world, and very few get connected to Krishna. Not because Krishna is like stupid, or we so smart, or otherwise. It's because we have great fortune in this life, through our previous lives, to get connection with Krishna. So to keep this connection with Krishna is very important for us. And remember, what destroys devotion is offenses and criticism. That's why one of the great Vaishnava qualities, not to criticize anyone. And sometimes avoid criticism is very difficult. Very difficult, especially in a group where you need to resolve some problems. But that's why it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, they have to be neutral. When devotees fight, you should not get involved. All right, maybe there are two senior devotees fight, but I should not get involved, because today they fight, tomorrow they kiss. Like my experience with general group like Janardhan Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, sometimes they fight, but I know, don't get involved, because tomorrow they meet, kiss, and they're happy. And if you involve in their thing, they will beat you. Why you involve? So then I know when they have their own thing, let them decide on their own, because I'm not qualified to judge them. Remember, Yudhishthira said, I'm not qualified to judge those who are above me. I qualified judge on that level. And I would apply justice not by the principles of justice and principles of mercy. But you know, mercy comes in different forms. That's why Yudhishthira said, this ignorant person, he should not be strongly punished because he's an idiot. This other guy, because he's suffered from jealous and greed, that's another story. And the kshatriya should be applied full-time, full scale, because that will be good for him. Yes, this life, he will lose his life, but next life, that karma will not work. Remember, it says in scriptures, if before your death, you confess certain simple acts, that karma for them will not go to next life. That's why this Christian idea of confession, the sin, but they don't understand really how it works, because it says in other scriptures. It says, if someone sincerely confess in that life and say, yeah, I've done this wrong, I've done that wrong, that this karma is not going to his next life. It doesn't mean that immediately you have to go to Godhead. No, to Godhead, you only go when you have devotion. So you have to acquire devotion. The fact is, how many sins you've done does not balance your devotional life, because it says in the scriptures, Nama Sankirtana Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. The pure name of Krishna can burn all the sins of billions of lives. But you have to get to that level. See, that's why what we need to concentrate is how to get to our devotion. And that means Guru, Krishna, Vaishnava, acting with enthusiasm, doing spiritual life, serving devotees, trying to do our best we can, and avoid criticism of devotees, avoid politics, avoid unnecessary things. That's why my principle is very simple. Okay, if you're not happy with this temple, go open new temple. All right, if you cannot open temple, okay, you do have your own program. You don't like our program? Okay, no problem, you can do a program. You don't like Avadhut Maharaj? Very good. Avadhut Maharaj does not like Avadhut Maharaj. You go serve some other devotee. But you don't waste your time on stupid things. You go and waste your time on something productive. Because by doing so, by running your own program, you understand how difficult it is. See, it's very easy to criticize, oh, prasadam is not good, or a temple is not good. There was like one guy come to Thailand, and he would criticize devotees. Oh, this is not good, that not good. And then end of the story, they told me, oh, he knows all Chiang Mai because he drove all Chiang Mai on motorcycle. So while somebody been serving, trying to do puja, trying to cook, this guy, because he didn't like the puja, he didn't like the cook, he get on motorcycle and just drive around and examine all the places. But you know what? This bad cook still in the temple, and that guy is not. So my position, I rather be a bad cook in a temple than good motorcycle driver. Do you understand? So you try to do your small service according as you can, sincere, and maybe you're not perfect, but being in sincere mood, you try to connect with Krishna consciousness. It's better than just driving away from devotees. So don't drive away from devotees. But devotees not perfect. Like I said to devotees, not everybody is perfect. Govinda Maharaj never challenged people, but he see if you can do something else, you do something else. And Govinda Maharaj always prays ISKCON. Why he always prays ISKCON? Some people, oh, we don't like ISKCON, but Govinda Maharaj like ISKCON. He said, yes, because they're get together to satisfy Prabhupada. And believe it or not, you see, they're always successful. Because there's point, if people get together to satisfy Guru, Krishna, no matter how deep they are, no matter how much qualities they have, they'll be always successful. That's why we have Hrishikesh Maharaj here, Vijayaraman. They don't have time for politics. They just have time for preaching. They travel and preach. Sometimes they get big programs. Sometimes they go to devotee house and stay and eat simple food. Sometimes they're like king. Sometimes they're like bomb. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You preach to one person or 1 billion person. You preach to yourself. So when I'm sharing with you, it's not that I'm getting your benefit. No, I am getting benefit by having sincere, appreciative devotees like yourself. So I highly appreciate you now as the time is over. I love you all. Hrishikesh Maharaj, позвоните мне с Vijayam. Thank you, Narayani, Yuvati, Nadia, Suresh, all who participating, translating. I love you all, guys. You're amazing. You're giving me hope. I love Pavel. He's really inspiring me. He's moving towards Krishna consciousness, and sincerely progressing every time and getting more and more taste involved into preaching. And that's what I think. I think if you're an intellectual person and you have some brain, you should preach. That's what I think. It doesn't really matter. Are you beginner or you mediocre or you like the Rishi or Muni? You have to start preaching. And that's what the Bhagavad is all about. It's about meeting, hearing, exchanging. And that's why I believe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started preaching center. So that I don't think, oh, women cannot preach. No, we have great preacher women like Vishaka, Bhakti Lalita, they can preach. You know, I never said women cannot be preacher. What Sridhar Maharaj said in our line, women are not giving acharya position because the Gayatri mantra, Sannyas mantra is not coming to women by Vedic rules. But there were many great women preachers in our line, Janavi Mata, Ganga Goswamini, so we're not denying women. But I would say most of our successful center presidents are women. So like temple president, because women is like a great mother of the whole devotees. Women has position of mother, which is worshipable. So we're good center run by good women, then everybody fed, everything clean. So Govinda Maharaj had many great women that run and finance centers. So we have, I fully appreciate women's, input on Krishna consciousness. In fact, we know in Goloka Vrindavan, they're all women. All our gurus have women positions, spiritual positions. So we're not deluded by gender. You know, we actually understand service life. That's why we have in Chaitanya Saraswat Math many great women, which we respect, appreciate, and follow. Like Chiang Mai, run by women team. Full Dome, run by women team. You know, a lot of Moscow center run by women. So we have Siberia run by women. So we have a great successful women that are running ashrams and they're recognized as a temple presidents and authorities. And, you know, they're also trying to cultivate devotees. But you know, they're very sweet and they're very humble. They're not trying to become guru and get the guru shtick, you know, actually, because that's not, it's like when women trying to grow the beard, it doesn't look good on her. So women is recognized by chastity, humility, sincerity, humbleness, sweetness, shyness. That's where the women qualities appear the most. The idea is like, I'm the pushing female and you have to listen to what I say. This doesn't work like that. You know, one mother is almost the mother. You know, mother doesn't have to become a father. She's better than father. Father does life and mother the nourishing. So what is more important? The mother, she nourishes you. So that nourishing quality of mother, her tolerance, her compassion is very important. So my Dandavat to all the great ladies, we love you all. You're very dear to Srila Gurudev. You're trying to your best with your sincerity, and Krishna will bless you for your sincerity. You're not trying to involve in politics and position, and that's not a great thing about women. They're looking for a service opportunity, and you know, we're so much grateful to all disciples of Srila Govinda Maharaj and all the wonderful Vaishnavas that got together today. My Dandavat Pranam, I'm leaving this Zoom. Haribo.
Dandavat Pranam. Jai Bimala Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai.